Here are 3 reasons why Emeka Egbuka needs to be on our draft boards. Reason number 1 is his competition, which at first glance looks a little intimidating, but in reality, it's wide open for him to have an immediate role on this team. Look, Mike Evans is pushing 32 years old. He plays mostly in the perimeter. He doesn't really go in the slot all that much. Emeka Egbuka profiles as a slot receiver. So he's going to come in and he's going to play a different role than Mike Evans would, who probably doesn't have a lot of juice left at this point anyway. Now, when it comes to Chris Godwin, GM Jason Light recently said that because they drafted Emeka Egbuka, they don't have to rush Chris Godwin back from injury. So Egbuka is going to start in the slot in the beginning of the season, and we saw what that role did for Chris Godwin. Now, the other receiver that people are worried about is Jalen McMillan. Last year, as well as he did down the stretch, Jalen McMillan was ranked 87th in yards per route run, 80th in contested catch rate, and he only had a 29% win rate versus man and a 43% win rate versus zone. Now, the second reason you need to be looking into Egbuka is because everyone in this offense eats. Last year with Baker Mayfield, the Bucs had the 5th most pass attempts, the 3rd most passing yards, and the 2nd most passing touchdowns in the entire league. And I already alluded to Chris Godwin's role in the slot in the beginning of last year, where he actually got 19.7 points per game, which was 2nd in that span. And that's the role that Egbuka might be walking into. Not only that, but both Evans and Godwin were top 10 in points per game when the year was all said and done. We also talked about Jalen McMillan, who at the end of last year had those blow-up games, which resulted in 19.8 points per game, making him the wide receiver 11 from weeks 14 through 18. So even by just missing one piece in Chris Godwin, McMillan was able to fill that role and potentially win some fantasy leagues down the stretch. Another concern is Liam Cohen not being there anymore. But Josh Grizzard is stepping in as the new offensive coordinator, and he was Cohen's right-hand man last year. I'm expecting this offense to be very similar, if not the same, as it was last year. And the third reason you should be looking to draft Emeka Egbuka is where he was taken in the draft. Egbuka joins a big list of Ohio State wide receivers taken in the first round, such as Marvin Harrison Jr., Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, and Jackson Smith-Njigba. When JSN was drafted by the Seattle Seahawks, he was behind DK Metcalf and he was behind Tyler Lockett, and there didn't seem to be a clear path for him to become the wide receiver 1 on his team. I see a lot of similarities between JSN's situation and Egbuka's situation walking in with Chris Godwin and Mike Evans in front of him. JSN now is viewed as a top 10, top 15 wide receiver, and I think Egbuka is going to get to that point either the end of this year or the beginning of next year.